It started 2 days after I ended it. Nothing dramatic, just a slow, quiet break. A conversation that had been coming for months. Too many arguments, too much mistrust, too much trying to fix something that had already rotted. He didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't beg. He just nodded, said, "Okay, if that's what you want," and left. I should have known it wasn't over. The first call came around 1:30 a.m. I was half asleep, phone buzzing against the nightstand. Unknown number. I let it ring out. Tried to convince myself it was spam. A drunk dial. Wrong number. The voicemail icon popped up. I listened. No words. Just breathing. Slow. Uneven. Right against the mic, like whoever it was didn't know, or didn't care, that it was recording. The second night, it happened again. Different number. Same breathing. And something else. Sobbing. Not loud. Not obvious. Just quiet, ragged gasps, like someone trying to cry without making noise. I blocked the number. Went back to bed. Pulled the covers over my head like I was 5 years old again. It didn't make me feel any safer. By the end of the week, it wasn't just calls. It was texts too. Short, fragmented. "Miss you. Where did you go? Don't leave." Always from different numbers. Always after midnight. Always when the world felt thin and breakable. I changed my number. It worked. For about 3 days. Then it started again. New calls. New messages. "I saw you today. You looked beautiful." I stopped answering. Unknown numbers altogether. Stopped checking voicemails. Stopped sleeping. My friends tried to help. Offered to stay over. Offered to call the phone company. Offered to set me up with new apps to screen calls. But none of it mattered. Because it wasn't about the calls anymore. It was about the feeling they left behind. The way my heart sprinted at every buzz. The way I flinched when a stranger looked at me too long in the grocery store. The way my hands shook when I reached for the door at night, half expecting to find someone standing there. I started living smaller. Started parking in different spots. Started sitting where I could see every exit. Started smiling less, laughing less, started trusting less. The worst night wasn't a call. It was a knock. 3 soft knocks at my apartment door around 2 a.m. No footsteps in the hall, no doorbell. Just knock, knock, knock. I sat on the floor behind the couch, phone clutched so tight it left dents in my palm. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just waited. Waited until the sun bled through the blinds before daring to move again. I bought a new phone, new number, deleted every social media account, blocked every old connection, erased myself as much as I could. And finally, the calls stopped, the messages stopped, the knocks stopped. But peace isn't something you just get back. It's something you claw at. Something you rebuild piece by crumbling piece, never quite trusting that it'll hold. Now, I still flinch when an unknown number pops up, still glance over my shoulder when I leave the house, still pause before unlocking my door at night, listening for breathing, for sobbing, for a voice whispering from the dark that I tried to leave behind. Because survival doesn't mean forgetting, it means carrying it with you. Every time the phone rings, every time you trust the silence a little too much, every time you start to believe you're safe, and the breath on the line reminds you you're not. It was just after midnight when the phone rang. I almost didn't answer. I was already curled up in bed, lights off, scrolling mindlessly through my feed. I almost let it go to voicemail. But then I saw the name flash across the screen. Tyler. I hadn't spoken to him in weeks, not since the breakup. Not since I packed up my things and left with nothing but 2 suitcases and my cat, Winnie. Part of me wanted to throw the phone across the room. But another part, the part that remembered the nights we laughed until sunrise, the way he used to hold me when I cried. That part picked up. He didn't even say hello. Just, "It's Winnie." My heart stopped. "What about her?" "She's at the vet," he said, voice thick, frantic. "There was an accident. I know who else to call. She's hurt bad." I was already out of bed. pulling on jeans, grabbing my keys. "Where?" I asked, shoving my feet into sneakers with shaking hands. "Where is she?" He rattled off an address. Not one I recognized. Said it was an emergency clinic out by the industrial district. Said I needed to hurry. That the vet was waiting for me. That she was asking. For me. I didn't question it. Not even for a second. Because when someone says your pet, your family, is hurt, you don't think. You move. The streets were empty. The kind of empty that feels wrong. Like you accidentally slipped into a world that had already ended. The industrial district was 15 minutes away. Old warehouses, abandoned loading docks, dead-end roads. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white, pushing the little Honda faster than it had any right to go. Half of me was praying to get there in time. The other half was already grieving. The address led me to a crumbling building. No lights, no sign, just a cracked lot and a faded metal door. I pulled in, heart pounding, confusion starting to crack through the panic. This wasn't a clinic. There were no lights, no cars, no sign of life at all. Just a hollow, dark stretch of asphalt and a low, humming silence. I fumbled for my phone. No new texts, no missed calls. I dialed him. It rang once, twice, and then he answered. I didn't even get a word out before I heard it. Breathing. Heavy. Deliberate. Not frantic. Not scared. Not the voice of someone trying to save a pet's life. The voice of someone waiting. "Where are you?" I whispered. He didn't answer. Just kept breathing. Slow. Measured. Close. I looked around the lot, suddenly aware of every broken street lamp, every abandoned car, every stretch of dark concrete that could be hiding something. Someone. I hung up. Through the car. Into reverse. Tires squealing against the cracked pavement. I didn't care if I looked crazy. I didn't care if it was a mistake. I just knew I had to get out. Now. I drove blind. Didn't check the mirrors. Didn't breathe until I was back on the main road. Headlights illuminating blessedly normal gas stations and Waffle Houses and late-night diners. It took another 20 minutes before I pulled over. Another 20 after that before I stopped shaking enough to dial the real emergency vet I used to take Winnie to. The woman who answered was kind. Too kind. She confirmed what I already knew, but couldn't make myself believe until I heard it. "No," she said. "No one brought in a cat tonight by that name." "No, ma'am," she added gently. "No. Emergencies reported at all." I hung up before I started crying. Drove home in a daze. Found Winnie curled up on the couch, blinking at me with slow, annoyed squints for waking her up. Perfect. Whole. Safe. She stretched and yawned as I scooped her up, burying my face in her fur, trying to convince myself that I hadn't almost what? Gotten out of the car? Gotten grabbed? Gone missing without a trace in a parking lot where no one would hear me scream? I blocked his number that night. I changed my locks. Got a second deadbolt. Moved apartments 3 months later. People always ask why victims go back. Why they answer the phone. Why they drive to unknown addresses at midnight. The truth? Because once, that voice made you feel safe. Once that person was the one you ran to, not from. Because when panic is clawing at your throat, you want to believe the emergency is real, not the person causing it. I don't trust phone calls anymore. I don't trust bad news texts. I don't trust that desperate voice that sounds just like the one I used to love. Because love doesn't end clean. It doesn't evaporate the second you leave. It lingers, it festers, it waits for the night you let your guard down, and answers the phone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more chilling tales.